In the heart of California's inland empire lies a city stitched together with freeways, flickering neon, and fading memories. San Bernardino is the kind of place people pass through without asking questions, where the past doesn't just linger, it presses in. The city has burned, rebuilt, decayed, and endured. But beneath that weathered surface, something strange hums just below the noise of traffic and sirens. This is a place where train depots echo with footsteps that shouldn't be there, where a once elegant hotel still stirs with the dreams of guests who checked in but never left. High in the hills, stone ruins whisper stories of rituals that history refuses to confirm. And far out in the desert, a cemetery stands as the last marker of a vanished town, its spirit still oddly restless. Even the living aren't always safe here. For decades, San Bernardino has been an unspoken capital for California's most dangerous outlaw biker clubs. Some say the roar of a Harley down an empty road isn't just a sound, it's a warning. So tonight, we peel back the sun-dried layers of the city, step lightly, because in San Bernardino, not all roads lead back. Hotel Castañeda. Once a jewel of early 20th century hospitality, the Hotel Castañeda was a crown atop San Bernardino's skyline. Lavishly built in the 1920s, it welcomed train passengers, businessmen, and Hollywood stars alike. Marble floors, velvet lounges, a ballroom that pulsed with jazz. The place was alive. But time, like it always does, turned the glamorous into the forgotten. Today, the hotel sits in elegant ruin, closed off to the public, its faded luxury quietly crumbling. Yet, despite its abandonment, the building never seems truly empty. Nighttime passerby report strange silhouettes moving behind curtainless windows. Locals whisper about a woman in white who appears on the third floor, sometimes gazing down at the street as if waiting for someone. Urban explorers say her room 309 goes cold without reason, and that their equipment malfunctions near its threshold. Theories abound. Some say a heartbroken lover jumped to her death during the hotel's decline. Others speak of ritual activity in the basement during the 80s. Either way, no one stayed the night in decades. But something, or someone, has. Santa Fe Depot. Ghost trains and a conductor who waits. The Santa Fe Depot is one of San Bernardino's most iconic landmarks. Built in 1918, it was once a majestic gateway to the city. With its Mission Revival architecture, vaulted ceilings, and elegant arches, it stood as a proud symbol of California's Golden Railroad era. Trains still arrive and depart here, but the grandeur has faded. What hasn't faded are the stories. Late-night custodians and transit workers have reported footsteps echoing through empty hallways. Some hear the distant whistle of trains that never arrive. But the most chilling reports involve the figure of a man in an old-fashioned conductor's uniform. He appears briefly on the platforms, checking his watch as though waiting for a late train, then vanishes into thin air. Paranormal researchers have picked up EVPs, murmured orders, shuffling movements, the clink of a pocket watch. One particularly strange report comes from a janitor who once locked up the station after a community event. As he did a final sweep, he heard a train rolling in, loud, real, and unmistakable. But outside, there was only silence. No tracks rumbling, no lights, no train. And then, standing just beyond the waiting bench, he saw the faint outline of a man in uniform, his face hidden under the brim of his cap. When he turned back after calling out, the figure had vanished, leaving behind only the strong smell of pipe smoke. Historians speculate that the ghostly conductor may be tied to one of several tragic incidents in the depot's past. A documented accident in 1938 involved a fatal derailment nearby, with one conductor crushed between cars while attempting a brake override. Others suggest he's a remnant from wartime troop transports, perhaps someone who never made it home. Whatever the origin, the depot carries an energy that's hard to ignore, and sometimes harder to leave behind. Agua Mansa, the cemetery of a drowned town. Once the most important settlement between Santa Fe and Los Angeles, Agua Mansa was founded in the 1840s by Mexican settlers seeking new life in California. For a time it thrived, until devastating floods swept through the region in 1862, destroying homes and lives. The town was never rebuilt. All that remains today is its cemetery, perched on a low hill overlooking what is now a forgotten plain. But if the town is gone, its people are not. Visitors to Agua Mansa Cemetery report strange occurrences. Phantom lights bobbing between tombstones, sudden chills, and voices speaking in Spanish late at night. Some claim to have seen a woman in a black veil kneeling by a child's grave before vanishing into the earth. Others have found fresh flowers on graves with no living relatives. Paranormal investigators say the area is rich with residual energy, a site where tragedy has imprinted itself permanently. Even in broad daylight, the cemetery feels too quiet. Not empty, but watching. Satan's Castle, rituals in the ruins. Deep in the San Bernardino mountains, past overgrown trails and graffiti-scarred rocks, lies the remains of what locals call Satan's Castle. Its origins are murky. Some claim it was once a religious retreat. Others say it was simply an eccentric stone home left to rot. But over the decades, a darker reputation has grown like moss around its walls. Fires, strange symbols, animal remains, and stories, always stories. Teens and thrill seekers who've dared to explore the ruins at night speak of shadows that move on their own, chants heard in the wind, and a chilling feeling of being watched. Some visitors report nausea or vertigo upon entering what's rumored to be the ceremony chamber, a room lined with scorched stone and what appear to be sigils. The structure is largely destroyed, but its legend survives, that it once hosted satanic rituals, sacrifices, or secret cult meetings, long before the internet turned such tales into cliches. In the 1970s and 80s, the location became notorious in local police records for animal mutilations and vandalism. Nearby residents would call in reports of fires on the mountainside, only for emergency crews to arrive and find nothing but scorched earth and burned out candles. Rumors circulated of robed figures seen climbing the trails by moonlight, carrying lanterns and chanting in languages no one could identify. One hiker claimed to have found a crude altar made of bones and copper wire, surrounded by melted dolls. He took a photo. The next day, his camera malfunctioned and his apartment caught fire. Despite frequent warnings and fencing attempts, the site continues to attract the curious. Some say the ruin has a magnetic pull, that people dream of it before ever hearing about it, that the place calls to them. Others believe the land itself is cursed, marked long before any structure was built. A few psychics who visited claim there's a presence still lingering there, something ancient, not quite human, and definitely not gone. Outlaws of the Inland Empire, San Bernardino's biker legacy. San Bernardino isn't just a city, it's a crossroads. And for decades, it's been one of the most important hubs for outlaw motorcycle clubs in California. In 1961, the Diablo's Motorcycle Club was born here, launching what would become a long and bloody era of biker dominance in the Inland Empire. They weren't weekend riders. These were men with enemies, empires, and arsenals. The Diablos quickly became a name whispered with fear, not just for their violence, but for the eerie silence that often followed their acts. Whole neighborhoods would turn their heads and say nothing. Later, the city saw increased activity from some of the most feared names in biker history. The Mongols, born in Southern California, began staking their claim in the area. Then came the Vagos, whose bright green colors flashed across the state's desert highways. What followed was years of turf wars, ambushes, and back alley assassinations. In March 2025, the Cold War turned hot again. Two alleged Mongols gunned down a Vagos member at a bar in nearby Ontario, reigniting a bitter rivalry. Just a year earlier, authorities raided a San Bernardino County home linked to outlaw bikers and uncovered an illegal weapons cache that included fully automatic rifles, suppressors, and even a grenade launcher. But these groups aren't just criminal, they're symbolic. In a city where poverty, decay, and disillusionment have left scars, the biker aesthetic has become a kind of twisted mythology. They offer structure in chaos, belonging in alienation, and power in a place often denied it. Some locals look the other way out of fear. Others admire them, claiming they're just misunderstood rebels. But law enforcement sees a more sinister picture. Organized syndicates that move drugs, guns, and bodies across state lines with military precision and merciless codes of loyalty. And in San Bernardino, the biker wars aren't always loud. Sometimes the warning signs come in the form of a new tattoo parlor opening near a quiet strip mall, or a bar switching ownership overnight, or a lone Harley parked in front of a home that by morning is abandoned. These signals don't make the news, but locals know what they mean. Not every haunting in San Bernardino wears a sheet or floats through walls. Some wear leather, some carry patches, and some move in packs. In San Bernardino, mystery isn't confined to the past. It lives in the ruins, in the train whistles, in the hum of distant engines. This is a city where ghosts walk in daylight and the living carve their own myths with steel and fire.